The Blastpoint update is finally live, and while everyone is focused on the new map in Red Sec Solos, the real changes that'll impact your gameplay are hiding at the bottom of the patch notes. So today, we're diving into the critical adjustments you might have missed, from the RPG to the new cryogenic barrel, and some much needed visibility fixes that'll change how you play. So I'll quit wasting time and get straight into the video. Let's get started with the Engineer class, which has seen some major changes this season. Anti-vehicle gameplay has been debated since the game's release, and luckily, DICE is listening. Since the beginning of Season 3, the RPG has felt a bit off. The reason for this is because the scope on the RPG was zeroed out to 100 meters, which is why the rockets arced upwards when you shot, forcing you to aim below the target you actually wanted to hit. It was awkward and definitely a bit frustrating. But with this new update, the trajectory has been completely reworked and the scope has been zeroed out to 22 meters, so those close range shots are more reliable and consistent. But now you'll need to aim higher up to hit those longer range targets. Overall, this is a great quality of life change that turns the RPG back into a dependable tool instead of a liability. The Glaive missile launcher has also seen some changes that have made missile guidance more reliable by improving tracking at lower altitudes, and if a vehicle deploys their countermeasures, the Glaive's rocket will still move towards its target's last position. So if a vehicle is stuck in a tight area or they're moving too slowly after using their countermeasures, those vehicles will still take damage, which might make this launcher a bit more viable when enemy players are spamming vehicles. Moving on to the support changes now, and if you're a player that loves to set up shop in the back of the map, I've got some bad news for you. The portable mortar has been a headache for players on the receiving end, often feeling impossible to counter since DICE has allowed them to be placed anywhere in the player's home spawn point. Instead of simply reverting that change and not letting players place them in their spawn, they've decided to reduce the health on the mortar from 250 points to 50 points, meaning that a well-placed mortar or grenade will take it out, forcing them to move on and wait for a new one to replenish. On top of that, support players can no longer use the missile intercept system and the mortar at the same time, and the missile intercept system can't be placed near mortars by another player, meaning that mortar players are no longer safe if a tank or an aerial vehicle gets a shot off on them. This is a big change that makes mortar gameplay more active and less about low-risk farming from a distance. Hopefully these changes are actually more impactful this time around, because all the past changes have done little to nothing to actually encourage players to use mortars outside of their spawn. Now let's talk about attachments, because this is where the meta is going to see a big change for the foreseeable future. If you've been playing for a while, you'll know that the extended barrel is a must-have for long-range weapons, but that 15-point cost restricted players from using important attachments on snipers and other specialized long-range weapons. But now it's time to rethink your loadouts, because DICE has decided to reduce the cost down to 5 points, but they've also removed the ADS benefit to even out the cost. Even with that being the case, this is a game changer that'll open up tons of new build possibilities. Now you'll be able to put on better grips, suppressors, or magazines, lasers, tac lights, or ammo types. While this change seems small, this is going to bring in some much needed build diversity to the game. The Blastpoint update is also bringing in 2 new attachments that could create a whole new type of weapon build. One is the new cryogenic barrel, and the other is the double-aught buckshot ammo type. The cryogenic barrel is pretty much a mix of the heavy barrel and the light barrel, which will give you better ADS time and improved accuracy during sustained fire, which just means it'll take longer for a weapon's bullet spread to increase when holding down the trigger instead of tap firing. Now the double-aught buckshot seems like an odd addition. This is a new ammo type for shotguns that improves range and damage per pellet, but there will be less pellets per shot. I haven't gotten to try out this new ammo type, but I think the damage will be more or less the same in closer ranges, but it'll be way more devastating at farther ranges. This ammo type having less pellets means that you will need to be more accurate. It's definitely going to be a high skill, high reward attachment that can make shotguns a serious threat at farther ranges, so it's something worth considering. Along with these new attachments, this update brings back the PP19, which has been an icon in the FPS genre as a whole. This SMG is going to be available in the new bonus path in the Battle Pass, and it'll be free for anybody to get. And with the addition of Cairo Bazaar, which is filled with tons of tight spaces, the timing couldn't be any better. While you'll get this SMG in the popular PP19-01 VIT-YAS configuration, you'll actually be able to turn this SMG into the popular PP19 Bison with the helical magazine and other select attachments, which will make this SMG one of the best options for close quarter scenarios. Now for some of the most important changes. The ones you won't see, but you'll definitely feel. Since the release of the game, the Battlefield community has been very vocal about visibility in the game. It can be incredibly hard to spot enemy players against certain backgrounds, especially around dense foliage or fog. But luckily, DICE has brought a major fix to the SOVIS filter. The Blastpoint update has introduced 5 major changes to the SOVIS filter to address this. Enemy player models will now pop cleanly from cluttered backgrounds by reducing visual noise around them, as well as making visibility completely uniform across all ranges by removing the unpredictable blending that occurred based on a player's viewing angle. The contrast has also been increased so that enemy players don't seem to disappear into the map at farther ranges, and that blinding glare you encounter when running outside from a dark area will adapt more smoothly with the SOVIS filter turned on. It's also cleaning up the visual artifacts that wrap around players in smoke, fog, or other weather effects so that players have a more natural appearance while keeping them trackable even in the most chaotic situations. Whether you're a sweaty player or a sentinel, turning on the SOVIS filter is now a no-brainer. And as for my fellow PC players, there's another fix that we've been desperate for. That frustrating micro-stutter that would throw your aim off at the worst possible time is now gone. And now the game should feel as smooth and responsive as it should have since day one. These changes may not be as flashy as new maps, weapons, or attachments, but they're the foundational improvements that show a real commitment to the game's long-term health. Better visibility and smooth input are fundamental to a good shooter, and these changes are arguably more important than any weapon. So while the new maps and modes are grabbing all the attention, it's the deep system changes that make the Blastpoint update so important. This has been a long-awaited update that hits on long-standing community feedback from all sides, and I'm glad DICE are making the changes sooner rather than later, unlike some other dev studios. Overall, the Blastpoint update is another huge step in the right direction for Battlefield 6. But what changes are you feeling the most? The RPG adjustment, the Mortar changes, or the new cryogenic barrel? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing so you can keep up with the best tips, tricks, and breakdowns for Battlefield 6. But with that out of the way, I'll see you in the next video.
Take what you can carry! Grab what you can!